2-2, the call of understanding. The sun slowly sank behind the mountains. The sky turned a shade of orange and purple, and the shadows of trees began to stretch along the riverbank. Li Yuan, Mu Yi, and Fan Tu were still sitting there, lost in laughter and simple conversations that gradually turned into a quiet, contemplative silence. The wind had grown colder, carrying the scent of damp earth and leaves. "I'm heading home. Let's meet again tomorrow," shouted Mu Yi as he waved and ran off toward the village path. Fan Tu simply nodded and walked toward his home, a small wooden doll dangling from his hand. Li Yuan was the last to stand. He looked at the river one more time before turning to go home. "Li Yuan, why are you home so late, dear?" It was his mother, Yi Ling, a simple woman full of love. Her hair was loosely tied, and her clothes were dusty from the fields. Though her body was tired after working all day helping the neighbors, her face lit up the moment she saw her son return. Li Yuan gave a small smile. He didn't reply. He felt his mother didn't need to know he had spent the evening lost in thoughts about rivers, skies, and the secrets of the world. From inside the house came a deep, calm voice. "Let him be, Ling. A boy must come to know the world." It was his father, Li Homing, a strong, quiet man. He was neither a warrior nor a scholar, but he possessed a steady strength and calmness that made him respected in the village. Yi Ling sighed, then gently brushed Li Yuan's hair with her hand. "You're as quiet as your father, but at least don't make your mother worry. Okay?"
Li Yuan nodded.
Warm, safe. Home always made him feel that way. Dinner time in the Li household was simple, yet full of peace. On a wooden table worn with age, there was warm rice, vegetables from their garden, and a fish freshly caught from the river by Li Homing himself. Li Yuan sat beside his mother, Yi Ling, who was ladling warm soup into his bowl with practiced hands. Sweat still dotted her temples, the result of a long day's work, yet her face remained soft with a gentle smile.
"Eat plenty, Li Yuan.
After dinner, you'll sleep well," Yi Ling said with motherly warmth. Li Yuan nodded and scooped some rice into his bowl. The food, though modest, tasted incredibly good, more than just flavor. There was warmth in every bite. Li Homing, usually quiet, looked at Li Yuan with a meaningful gaze. "Tomorrow I'll go hunting. It might take a while. I may not be home until late," he said as he sliced the fish with his knife. "You'll need to take care of your mother, all right?" Li Yuan nodded, though a small worry tugged at his heart. His father was an experienced hunter, but the forest could be dangerous, especially at night. Yi Ling smiled, as if she could read her son's thoughts. "Don't worry, Li Yuan. Your father knows what he's doing," she said, trying to reassure him. After the quiet dinner, the family spoke a little more. About news from neighbors, the crops growing in the garden, and small plans for the next day. Light-hearted conversations that only added to the peaceful feeling in their home. But not long after, sleepiness crept in. Li Yuan said goodnight to his parents and headed to his room, a small space furnished only with a thin mat and a dimly lit oil lamp. He lay down on his simple bed, staring at the bamboo ceiling above him. Even though the house felt warm and full of love, that night, a strange feeling lingered in his heart, a feeling he couldn't quite understand. Slowly, his eyes closed, and within minutes, he drifted into a peaceful sleep. But in that sleep, something unusual stirred. The night crept in slowly, wrapping the small village in a deep, hushed stillness. The wind blew gently, carrying the scent of damp leaves and earth freshly kissed by dew. Inside the little house at the edge of the village, Li Yuan slept in silence. His breathing was calm, his small body tucked under a thin blanket, while the oil lamp in the corner of the room flickered faintly, its flame slowly fading. Yet behind his closed eyelids, another world began to unfold.
Li Yuan stood.
But not in his home, and not in the village he knew. He stood in the middle of an endless expanse, dark ground beneath him, a deep violet sky above, and massive stars slowly spinning like eyes watching him from afar. The air felt strange, as if silence itself had a voice. "What is this?" The words didn't come from his mouth, but he knew his mind was asking. In front of him something appeared. Not a human, not a creature, but a swirling mist, gray in color, just like his eyes. The mist drifted closer, slowly forming a circle in the air, carving complex symbols as if inscribing laws into the void. Then, a voice was heard. Understanding begins not with learning, but with feeling. The voice was soft, formless, neither male nor female, yet its words echoed straight into Li Yuan's heart. The river flows because it knows its path, and you too shall flow toward your own. Suddenly, the violet sky collapsed. The mist shattered into tiny lights that poured into Li Yuan's body. Flowing into his blood, his bones, his mind, he screamed, not from pain, but from a sudden surge of awareness. Something had awakened. Li Yuan jolted awake, gasping for air. Cold sweat clung to his forehead, and his gray eyes stared at the ceiling in confusion. He was still in his room. The oil lamp had gone out. Outside, the sound of crickets still echoed, as if nothing had happened. But Li Yuan knew something had changed. His hands felt warm, and as he looked at them, a faint gray light shimmered, just for a moment before vanishing. Was that a dream? He whispered softly, but deep within he knew it was no mere dream. It was a calling, and he had just opened the first door on a path no one had ever walked before.